Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now it's harvest season here on the homestead and I've got a couple of tips to share with you guys that you can apply to your gardening strategies going forward. We did an experiment with potatoes comparing traditional topsoil to aged manure as a growing medium, so in a few moments we'll see the results of that and you can see which one is best. Earlier on this year, back in May, we harvested 9 kilos of carrots from that bed there beside me. So I'll show you how we did that and you can do it yourself at home too. I'll also show you the super easy way to ripen your green tomatoes. If, like these ones behind me, you've run out of time in the season and you have to take them in. I'll also show you what I'm planting for the coming winter as a winter crop. And not only that, you get to tag along with us and join in on the fun. So let's get started with the spuds. We're starting off with the potatoes here. We did 2 separate crops this year because we lost our main bed up the front to blight and weeds. So we've got this bed down here and an experimental crop up in 2-year-old cow manure. There they go. Oh, a couple of good sized ones.
Yeah, there is.
Let's have a look. That basket's filling up quick, isn't it?
Yeah, but Dad,
Yeah.
there were
all the debris down there
side.
and we'll get that in a
But
little
there were
while.
three that were this size.
Wow, they're going to make some nice chips, aren't they? We're getting a lot of them with damage in this row. The first row was grand, but
We have to go and get
get a lot of them like that, destroyed by slugs and centipedes and stuff. Oh, these ones are fierce bad, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, there's really bad ones there.
Well, that's the first 2 rows cleared. Got about a full barrow load out of each row. Lots of them in the second row over there though were slug destroyed or destroyed by various insects. It wasn't great out of that one. The first row here though was much better. We'll go up now and see what the ones grown in the aged manure are like. This is the pile of the 2-year-old aged manure. We had extra seed potatoes left over from last year, so I just threw them in here to see how they'd go. And it'd be interesting now to compare them to the ones that were grown in the other soil mix, which was the clay soil we have native here and mixed with mushroom compost. So we can see the difference from them.
No, they're not the same. The pull out isn't even the same. At least you have to pull them out.
What do you think? Is it like harder to pull them out or easier?
They're easier to take, I don't think there's going to be much potatoes.
Potato.
Well, as a growing medium, it's safe to say that the aged manure doesn't work very well. What we did get out of it, they weren't too badly damaged. This one's kind of not great. But most of all, they're all tiny. And it's way over compacted as well. It's probably a lot of the reasons why they didn't grow very well. Yeah, worth a try as an experiment, but realistically, it doesn't work on its own. Good additive for the soil though, you know, to mix in with like clay or maybe some other types of compost. It's a good additive as a fertilizer, but on its own, it doesn't work at all. So it's now the 2nd week of September. It's 3 weeks since we did that main harvest. And at this time of year, you want to be clearing out your tunnel ready for your winter crop while you still have enough temperature left to get fresh seeds to germinate. So I'm going to start doing that by taking all the green tomatoes first and putting them in the bottom of the basin where they can be separated out to ripen on the shelf. And we'll leave all the red ones till last so that they don't get squished underneath them and they can go straight into sauces that can be made immediately. So I'm going to be a bit ruthless here with everything. Anything that's too small, chuck them. Anything that size or bigger, we'll see will they ripen up inside. When I get them all done, I'll show you how we ripen them, and guys, you're not going to believe how easy this is to do. Just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. But within about 2 weeks, all of these green tomatoes, or almost all of them, will have turned a nice shade of red for you. The easiest way to ripen your green tomatoes is to just lay them out on a sunny location like this. For some people that's a windowsill or on a shelf in their tunnel. For us, because we've got this quantity, we do it here on the kitchen table. It takes about 2 weeks and the majority of those green ones will all turn red. The only ones that won't turn red were ones that were too immature in the first place. Unfortunately, you'll have to bin those. But this is the way we do it every year and it works a treat. It's now 7 days later, and just look at the difference. Almost half of them have ripened and are ready for processing. So you don't need any of those convoluted methods that you see bandied around social media. All you need is a couple of hours of UV light and leave them sitting in good airflow. Both of these things help prevent mould or fungus forming, allowing them that extra time to ripen up off the vine. To get a fully mature harvest of carrots from the tunnel as early in the season as May, you've got a couple of choices. What you could do is like what we did, where we plant the seeds in October. They sat dormant for most of the winter until the last week of January, where it warmed up just enough for them to start germinating, which meant they were fully matured by May, and then the bed is free again for use throughout the summer for the next crop. You could also go ahead and just after Christmas plant the seeds in there, maybe the first 2-3 weeks of January, and hopefully you would get the same results. So those are your choices, but the benefit of it is it frees up the tunnel again for your summer crop. This crop of carrots here beside me were planted immediately after that, literally the day after that harvest. And seeing as how it's now the second week of September, these ones are now ready for harvest, and we can plant another lot in the tunnel again. The variety of seeds that we used on both occasions was Fly Away from Fothergill's. They're a hybrid of the Autumn King type as far as I know, and they work very well both indoors and outdoors, provided it is warm enough for them to germinate. So Katie's going to help me out here pulling these ones up, and we can go ahead then and plant the next lot in the tunnel after that. And they're coming up a good size too. Come on Katie, get stuck in. Now you start at that end and I'll work down this end.
That tree.
Coming up pretty decent. They're not bad. They're not bad. They're not as big as the previous ones, but they're not bad either.
Yeah. Remember one of the
fully
last.
mature, so
Remember one of the last ones
we're
was
getting
shaped
there
like
just
a
in time.
box.
Yeah, they're not bad. We're getting some decent ones. Another handy tip for you to help speed up your processing time when you do get a harvest is that instead of trying to cut all the greens off, the fastest way to do it is simply just snap them off like that. And of course, if you have a few chickens handy, they'll clean up the rest for you. And within a couple of minutes, your carrots are ready for processing. Come on, hon, let's go.